couple girls would come down to the dock every day and they asked to row with the men. The men said no, but that they could cox for the men. Well, that wasn't good enough for the first 4 ladies, so then they ended up sitting on the dock every day until they were like, okay, you can row. Linda Moeller was the coach for the first 12 years. Linda really did what she could to make the program thrive. The fact that it even continued to be a program speaks a lot to what Linda went through just to make it happen.
I was amazed, and I thought it was so cool that, these women will sit on a dock every single day to endure the pain that the men do. Women can do it as well, no problem, and we want to do it, and we want to put up a fight, and it's commendable, it's honorable, and I think a lot of the girls now would have done the exact same thing, and I think it set the tone for the rest of OCC Women's Rowing. I think we have the same kind of attitude as they did.
We are the only community college that has a rowing program. There are a couple other schools that have tried to have a rowing program that are 2-year, but haven't been successful. So coaching at the only 2-year that's been successful has been a challenge since we compete against D1, 2, and club teams.
You're competing against all these 4-year universities that have the budget and the recruiting skills and abilities that OCC doesn't necessarily have.
That presents us as the underdog in most races, but it's great when you have a solid team and end up beating a lot of those schools.
I just thought, okay, this is going to be an easy sport. I can get into a 4-year college with this. It's not even that hard. All you have to do is row a boat.
It was a lot harder than I anticipated. I knew that I was in for some hard work. I've always been an athlete, and so I knew that nothing was going to change there as far as having to work hard to earn my spot.
It made me have to confront myself and my fears and my thoughts and my behaviors and my actions.
I would say the biggest thing I didn't expect was to be such a mentor. It's been the most challenging and the most rewarding thing. A lot of girls don't have the best home life, and this is what they look forward to every day.
The sport and this boathouse and these girls have completely saved my life. I lived a completely different lifestyle and had a lot of problems with drugs and alcohol, and I needed to go in a completely different path.
I took away so much from my crew experience. I learned about hard work and dedication, and now if I'm thinking something's hard, I'm like, no, it's not. Let's go try again. Nothing's hard compared to what I went through.
I've gotten an incredible living and unshakable confidence in myself, physically and mentally, and I think that's going to take me far in life in general, not just athletics.
There we go, set the boat up.
If you want to talk on the technical side, an ideal rower is 6 feet tall and 160 and all that. But all that is completely aside, I think an ideal rower is someone who shows up every morning and works hard. Because what's the point at waking up at 4 and trying mediocre? There's no point, go home.
It has nothing to do with whether you're tall or short, big, petite, it doesn't matter because it's about how strong you can be mentally. A perfect example is Frankie. She's the smallest person on our team and she's probably one of the strongest.
Okay, again, no passing under the bridge. I want to see how tight you guys can make your turns.
Tenacity. I think you have to have a lot of tenacity, a lot of heart. You know that you're going to be in some pain during this sport. It's not an easy sport, but the payoff is unimaginable.
The most ideal rower for me is someone who won't quit.
Everyone's kind of scared of bear, but in a good way. There was one day we did really, really hard pieces on the water, and then the next day we had an erg test, and I was like, how does she expect us to do this erg test after we had a really tough day on the water? Is she trying to break us? The answer is kind of yeah.
Honestly, I think I have more anxiety for erg tests than I do for any test at school, because you perform and you go all out for the erg test, and by the end of it you're exhausted, you hurt, sometimes you cry.
Erging is 100% the most difficult thing I've ever had to do. Everyone has their own definition of pain in their minds, and then you sit on the thing and you take some strokes and it's a piece and it's intense and it's hard and it's the most painful thing you'll ever experience, and you can never experience it or understand unless you were sitting there doing it yourself. You have to show up and be in the zone and declare war on that erg and be like, I'm going to destroy you right now. So mental. But it's so rewarding when you're done, and that's the best part. The best part of pain and suffering is the outcome. Like, I did this.
Being a female athlete is pretty crazy because when people ask you what you do and you say, oh, I row, they don't really think of a woman doing it. It's usually the men. And so when you tell them about it and you tell them like, oh yeah, we did this or we won this, they're like, oh, no way, like that's awesome.
People think like, oh, that's like a guy's sport. Like, how do you do rowing? Like, that just sounds intense. But like, girls can do bad things, so it's pretty nice.
It's a lot like having to prove yourself every day because, physically we're not at the same level as men, but we can still be equally as fierce and competitive.
At the start of the race, I feel like my heart is about to come out of my chest because I can feel it pounding so much.
Lock them and load. Sit ready, guys. Square them. Ready, rope. Take 3 to build, then we'll take a big 10. That's 2. Send it. And 3 girls. High 10 on this one. Building up. That's 10. Drive it in right here. 9. Legs. Let's go, girls. 8.
When you're racing, you are pulling for the other 7 girls that are pulling with you. And you look at the girl in front of you and you're like, okay, she's giving 100%, I need to give 100%.
Right here, all out. That's 4, jump. That's 3, send it. Paddle in 2. That's 1 and 2. Paddle on this one. Nice job, guys. 18-20. Woo!
The best part about rowing? Everything. There's so much. The water, the sunrises, being the only one out there in the morning.
You're not just making friends that you meet in college, you're making family members that you race with, you compete against for spots in the boat, you hang with, you laugh, you cry.
I guess not.
I'm still best friends with a lot of the people that I rode with here.
When I come here to work, it's never work, with teaching or with coaching. Like, if I were to tell you what my dream job is, this is it.